Welcome to SC Community Scrum. Today we're going to be talking about anti-Black racism. We're just going to go around the room and everyone can introduce themselves and then we can get started.
Okay. My name is Nathan Baya. I am a community facilitator at SC.
I'm Leah Shifra and I am the social support worker at SC.
I'm Aliana Creighton.
This is our
It's
first
okay, keep
time,
going.
okay? So
Okay.
There's no messing up.
I'm Aliana Creighton and I'm a summer placement tutor at SC.
My name is Kula. I'm the Youth and Business Engagement at SC.
My name is Kyra SC and I'm the Alumni Relations Officer at SC and also an alumni of SC. So today we're going to be talking about our first interactions with racism in Toronto. Some of us are originally from here, some of us aren't, so we might have very different experiences. We're just going to do this popcorn style. Anyone could start?
Girl, what you said now?
yeah, Khalil.
No,
Don't look at me.
Nathan, I got you. Because I might go too deep.
Well, I think with racism in Toronto, it's a little different than like what we see in the States, because in the States it's more blatant. You know that like they're being super racist, but in Toronto it's like more systematic discrimination, racism, all that type of stuff. So a lot of people believe that like there isn't any racism, but I think with a lot of our experiences, we will actually show you that we actually have experienced like some form of racism here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of underlying racism and there's a lot of passive. Like being in the States, I've never really experienced racism in that way from my own experience. But in this country, I find that I've experienced a lot of racism with many different cultures, even amongst my own culture. Like even down to the term brown, that's such a new term for me. I've never heard anyone refer to themselves as brown until I got here. And then just like being on TTC or, you know, going to work or traveling around, you hear and see people say the most ridiculous things. And those are things that I've never, ever experienced back at home. The other day I was going to my cousin's house and I was crossing the street and the guy probably wasn't very well, but he was riding his bike and he's like, "Get out of the way, you effing nigger." And I'm like, did that just happen? It's 2020.
Really?
Like, what's going on? Yeah, for sure.
I think, like, have I experienced close contact, a situation where a police officer put me in an uncomfortable physical situation? I would say no, but have I experienced PTSD from coming up from a community where there's been gun violence, there's been carding, there's been many different ways. So I think systemic racism has worked its way around me that has affected my life in many forms of way, from the employment system to just how I'm seen as a Black man and many things along those lines. And I feel like many of us have seen it behind the screen on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or on TV. And that's why most times when people have their first encounter, they feel like they say, "Oh, I never thought this would happen to me." Because they're just so used to seeing it and not experiencing it. But then if you actually analyze your life, you'll realize in so many fashions, systemic racism has put you way in the back, and has put whites and everybody else way in the front. And when you look deeper into it, you'll see like, wow, my fight is stronger than their fight, because I got to work twice as hard when they just got to do the bare minimum. And if I get a charge versus my white friend getting a charge, who has an uncle who owns the company that will overlook everything, it'll affect me a lot differently. But I would just say systemic racism has affected, so I'm an artist. Many times I would try to book venues or try to put on events, and the second that they look at me, they just don't think I'm going to respect their venue. They think I'm not going to respect the bylaws, and that's just purely based off of what they think about Black people. And I just happen to be a Black artist. Especially when you look at the state of rap, when they think about Black rappers, they don't bring up Common, they don't bring up Nas, they don't bring up Jay, they bring up 6ix9ine and all these other artists, and they think that we are all ruled in the same pulpit. And I think racism has impacted me in the fact that I always had to, my resume is pretty steep, but would it be as steep if I felt like I didn't have to work twice as hard? I don't know. But either way, I just looked at the obstacle and I made it a pass, and I just said kind of how it's unfortunate that when it comes to things like Black Wall Street, we had our own. We had everything. We didn't need anything else. We were sustaining. We had churches, restaurant, and the world does not like when Black people are together because it's too powerful. When you look at, I don't need to go too long, but when you look at the other year when they were doing the elections for Jaden Finch, I remember one of the people running said something like, I don't know if you guys remember, that we have to scatter them around because when they're strong, we have to scatter them around like cockroaches.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, he's basically saying that they're too strong together. So take down these buildings, scatter them like cockroaches, clean them, and it goes to show you that's the same the hatred that they had for Black Wall Street. That when Black people are together, it's too strong. That's why when you see a restaurant or whatever, you see a bunch of people working, but when you see a bunch of Black people in, it's a hatred against the world. But what I try to do now is I try to open up space for my people. I try to open up community events and safe spaces that we can link up and we can click up and we can show our power. And unfortunately, it is 2020, but Black people are still being hanged.
Yep.
And there's still things going on that are very unfortunate. And I remember Will Smith said something. He said, racism is not getting better, it's just getting filmed. So
Facts.
beyond coronavirus just came and we found the cure, but racism has been here and it's been a global pandemic for years and there's still no cure. But I believe the cure is love, and we just need to love one another, and that's the only way that we can impact systemic racism.
That's true.
And getting Black people involved in those places. That's why places like C are very important, where it's all young Black professionals.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's my piece.
for sure. I think systemic racism has always been there. It's just been reformed. It just comes out in different ways. And I think as a city, we kind of, hide it. We're more subtle. Obviously, we live in Toronto, so it's diverse. But it's still there in many shapes and forms when it comes to employment, when it comes to, going to the bank and actually trying to get a loan. It comes in school and education. I feel like there's so much barriers. Like there's barriers and challenges. Like, Nathan said, we have to work 400 times as hard, right? And the reason why I say that is because we went through 400 years of slavery. For me, I grew up in the hood in an area called Parkdale, and, I faced it with the police. Like everywhere I go, they look at you, young Black male dressed in black, you're automatically a target. You fit the description, And for me, it was just like, I didn't really understand that. At that age, I'm just like, yo, the cops are whack. They don't like me, but I didn't know there was racism. They viewed us in a certain way where this angry and violent person, you know what I'm saying? And the other day, a couple years ago, I had a manager, and we were having a conversation. We were talking about, work and life and stuff. And he was like, you're very good at articulating yourself. And in my head, it was like, yo, what does that mean? What do you mean? Is it because I'm young, Black, with dreads, you didn't expect someone to be like this? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm educated? Like, there's tons of us that are out there that speak very well, right? So, I feel like there's lots of stereotypes attached to it. They see us a certain way, they don't understand our culture, and they treat us a certain way. We don't get the same opportunities that they have. Another instance, I also work for the city, and I feel I work with a lot of people who deal with mental health and stuff. And one of them said to me, they start shouting the word, the N-word under their breath. And for me, it was like, it was painful, to hear that, because it's not a great word. It's not a word that, that uplifts people. It's a word to really put us down and oppress us. So when they said it, I was getting I was like inside I was getting upset. But, we kind of have to brush it off because it's, their mental health, they're homeless, and, they don't know better, right? And I feel like, we have to stand up and put a voice like, yo, where does that stop? When do we speak up? When do we say enough is enough? We got to stand up for our people, stand up for our communities, stand up for, for the people who can't speak for themselves. Go to these businesses and say, hey, listen, we have a voice, we're important, and we're just as valuable as you are.
Sure.
Cool. You brought up something that made me think. Like, where do you guys think this whole angry and Black concept comes from? Why have all Black people been marked off as angry or Black? From your person, like, where do you think that comes from?
I think when it comes to the state of Black people and mental health, you're either the angry Black man or the angry Black woman, or you're not angry enough. And I believe the balance in that is you're the angry black man because you keep seeing your people encounter racism, or you're not angry enough because how could you see your people being hanged and not feel away? But I think what happens is we get desensitized because you see it all the time. So the killing of someone black is almost like, okay, it becomes a norm in your mind. So you're not angry enough. You're not for the movement enough. That's what certain black people tell you. You're not there for the movement enough. And it's like, guys, I want to have the same energy at every rally, but we've been rallying for 400 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for me to have the same level of anger every time. At one point, I kind of just accepted it. I still fight the fight, but I don't fight the fight with the same energy and power system. And then there's your other people who are just still have the same anger that they've been carrying on for years. Basically, the mental health department in the state of black people is just it can be very low, only because it's like, we're either not angry or we're not angry enough. And okay, in the midst of all this anger, when do we just get the chance to be happy? But then you'll be black.
But hold on, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to say something. If Tommy, goes out there and he commits a crime, right? He commits a crime. He's automatically labeled, Tommy's going through something. He's having issues at home. He's having a mental breakdown. But when a person, of our skin color go out and do a crime, this person's automatically in a gang. This person sells drugs. This person's an angry black person. He's no good. Like, the story is totally different. And I feel like it's unfair. Yeah. They don't understand, as black people, we go through issues, problems, stress, and multiple traumatic experiences. There was a thing, they did a study of the people who went to war in Iraq and people who are in the black community. They assessed their trauma. They said people in the black community face as much or even more than the people that go to war in Iraq. Doesn't that show you something?
The PTSD is real. I don't know about any of you guys, but I'm not a criminal. And when I'm driving and I see the cops, or if the cops are pulling me over, I'm shook. Like, my voice is shaking. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to make certain movements.
100%.
I'm paying attention to what they're doing. I'm cautious of my tone, my actions. Like, it's scary.
100%.
That's a version of PTSD.
And I think, like, with the term of, like, angry black woman or man, I think it actually might have started from, like, the other races. I think they project their fears on us. So they may look at us and be like, yo, this person is scary. So they're going to relate, like, characteristics of what makes the person scary. They may think, like, this person could just, like, hurt them, be scary, like, angry, all these type of things. So then it's, like, easier for them to call us angry because that's how they feel about us when they look at us. Because they're scared of us. Like, also, like, we are, like, not saying, like, we're always
and
stronger than them, but
they have to share the same space as us
Yeah.
because they truly think that they're better. They truly believe that they're above, you know?
Well, you brought up a great point with the concept of, like, in relation to mental health. It's true. If for example, Dylan Roof, who killed 9 members of a church, he was properly detained, given Burger King on his way to jail. Versus if a black man does that, they would shoot him. They would shoot him on sight.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. There would be no proper detaining of him. There definitely, if he was properly detained, there definitely wouldn't be no Burger King involved. And you can definitely see that there's a difference between how, if a white person does something, it's like, oh, well, in grade 3, his mom didn't give him a bowl of cereal. So he lost his mind and became a mass killer.
Exactly.
But this person has no form. So like I said, sometimes in black people will not be okay with you being happy. Because how could you be happy with everything going on? But the reality of it is, you need to be happy to keep living, because if you're not happy, you're sick. So you're dealing with your own brothers and sisters telling you're not mad enough, join the fight. And it's like, I'm joining the fight, I'm just okay while joining the fight. And then it's like,
and there's other ways of joining the fight.
And then there's white people now who you can be happy and then will just toss it on you. You're not, you're an angry black person. Guys, when do I get to be okay in my community? When do I get to be okay in other communities? Because it seems like the state of happiness is viewed as ignorance. For you to go right now and just drink and play soca and this and the third, it's not really viewed as a part of the revolution, but it is. It is a part of the revolution, because for just
you're owning your culture.
Exactly.
Like, and that's what they've been taking away from us. And labeling things that are a natural part of our culture as crime. And ignorance and being angry or crazy and all these other labels that they like to put out. And it's literally just a pure form of our culture.
And I want to give an example when it comes to employment. About a year or two ago, I worked at RBC Bank. And, you know, I was excited. I got the job, amazing, you know, young black person, you know, he's suited up, he's working for the bank. So when I got there, what I realized, I looked around the room and I was like, wait, I'm the only black person in this space, right? And the reason why I say that is because you feel uncomfortable when you don't see your other, you know, you don't see your brothers or sisters or people who look like you in the same space.
Did you question if you were just a diversity quota?
Yeah, I felt like that.
That's how I feel.
You know, especially
like,
when they had the black clients, they're like, yo, they pass it on to me. And they're like, oh, you take it back. You guys can relate. You and Jamal.
Wow.
You know, you guys can relate. And I was like, you know, with the Asians, they pass the Asians to the Asians. With the Indians, they pass the Indians to the Indians. So I was like, yo, it was just kind of, I felt like I was just there to say, okay, we got
But to be
someone.
honest, like on my sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say that's how I feel too. Like even with going to school, it's a bunch of white kids. When I look at my class, like it's just a bunch of white kids, and then I feel like, oh, I'm the only black kid, and then like I feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
because like, you know,
Yeah.
like
How you feel.
Our school's not racist. Look at
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, we're not racist. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly
She's
what they
black.
do.
She's black.
She's black. We let her come here.
Yeah, we let her eat
There-
here.
There aren't any signs on the wall.
You're comfortable,
But in
right?
actuality,
shut up.
there are a bunch of subliminal signs on the walls,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
right?
Oh, the
So-
movie Get Out. Did you guys see the movie Get Out?
Yeah.
That was a great example of he was just like, okay, my girlfriend is white. Okay, that's cool. I'm in an interracial relationship. Oh, she wants to go to a family college for the month. Okay, I'm not gonna bad mind that. But naturally, as time progressed, he started feeling like I'm just seeing white people. I'm just seeing white people. I'm just seeing white people. And then he saw a black man. He's like, oh, breath of fresh air. Yo, what up, Khalil?
Yeah.
And then you're like, hi. And then I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you really feel like, oh my God, this is a state of awkwardness. That is like, there's nobody I can just dap or say wagwan to,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just
Be
relax.
yourself.
'Cause
Yeah.
really and truly, when black people are in front of whites, we're performing.
Yeah,
And we're performing this, that, and the third. And when you see your red, it's like,
Why you don't be my
like,
taking off this suit?
Yeah.
you're like, yo, you know what I mean? Yeah, you were saying?
No, I'm saying like it doesn't act like when it comes to like going to the bank and stuff. Like I'm not gonna lie, if I saw a black teller or if, like a person that's gonna help me, like a financial advisor, I promise you, I'd only want to pick the black person.
yeah.
Because even in my experience, I remember I was telling some of you guys here, like when I recently registered my business, I wanted to get like a bank card for my business. So I walked in and they're like, I need to get a financial advisor. What can I do? And it was at TD. They just got me like a random lady, and the lady didn't tell me her name, nothing, no customer service, nothing.
Wow.
Okay, so she just let me sat there, and she was like, first of all, the question she was asking for COVID, like I understand, but it was like it was way too much at a point. I'm just like, okay, like this is getting a little. I already felt there was something going on, like there was something behind just like me coming in. It was more about like my color, the skin of my color. Color of my skin. But she kept going on and she's like, how do you even know like your business is gonna even make that much money? Like, cause she's asking me about like my transaction numbers, because that's how much like you kind of have to base like your business like profile on like getting whatever like type of account on how many transactions, right? And I'm telling her like at the end of the day, I'm trying to make the most amount of money, so give me something that's gonna good for my business. She's like, but you just started. You I think you're just gonna only need like 5 transactions, or like just super like demeaning. And I just felt like, you don't know me, man. Like you don't know what my business is. You don't know nothing about me. How are you gonna tell me what my business is going to be like? But I felt like if it was somebody like even like her race, this woman would have helped them, like, inspire them to do more. You know, like come back, I'll help you, give you the ways of that.
Extra resources and everything.
Yeah, and then literally I was just like, this is so like, you don't know who I am. Like I just felt like it was just based off my skin, the color of my skin. And in general, I usually don't really feel like that, but this time I don't know why. Like it was just like, this has to be it, because
And that's the backhanded,
Yeah.
underlined
Yeah.
racism that happens every single day.
What's worse is they don't acknowledge it. They make you feel crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't racially profile her. I
Yeah.
just asked her a fair question about
Yeah.
her business. Yeah, but your tone. I don't know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that's how you feel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that's your perception.
yeah.
And then you're there going nuts, and you're like, wow, you're doing a lot of antics.
Yeah.
Because you're there like,
Yeah.
what? He's like, oh, are you being violent now?
Mhm.
Security, she's
Code of
harming you.
conduct.
Exactly. So now you're completely, because when someone is out of character, they're at their most vulnerable point. And if I look at that as an opportunity to be like, Khalil, what's wrong with you? Why are you raising your hands? Why are you yelling? You're making me feel unsafe. I'm uncomfortable. Really and truly, the only thing that's a threat is your skin.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's an unfortunate thing that we deal with, and honestly, what is it called again? Not all skinfo ain't kinfo, something like that. What is it?
I don't know that one.
Not all kinfo ain't skinfo. You never heard about that?
Never heard of that.
No, but you're making me want to
basically it's a concept
research
where, because sometimes I'll go to a bank, like yourself. If I see someone black, I'm more inclined to go, and then I'll have a terrible experience.
Yeah.
And then if the white person on the side is a great experience, so that kind of lets me believe that it's not always about skin, it's about heart.
Yeah.
Like, what type of heart do you have in the midst of that? You know what I mean? But I also do think we're too quick to write off certain black people.
Exactly.
Like, you go to a black restaurant, you get one bad order, you gotta mind them
But
for life.
I think that's something worth talking about too, especially as like now that we need to be more cautious of shopping with our black brothers and sisters. We have to be more patient.
For sure.
We have got to be able to be the person that's willing to teach or be a guinea pig, because or else they're never gonna learn.
Yeah.
So and who else? It's like in the house when you say like, if I don't tell you, who else is gonna tell you?
Exactly.
So should we just keep complaining about prices, or say like, oh, well, this is case studying. Maybe you should, like maybe I could put you on. Here's another resource. Maybe I could put you onto that.
Or even just telling them about like, you
telling
should just
them
treat people nicer.
a true review instead of
customer.
walking away.
Yeah.
But it's our culture, right? It's been a part of our culture to walk away and talk instead of telling people how it is, because we've never had the right to.
Exactly.
We've never had the right to have a voice.
Yeah, it just doesn't to me, it doesn't make sense that, like, you go to one Jamaican restaurant, your oxtail wasn't good in 2010. And then once you go to McDonald's and you get the same dry fries from since 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Because like one of my aunts are like that. It's like, oh no, I can't go to that restaurant. Like, never again. They gave me this one bad order. I'm like, when was that? Oh, 10 years ago. I'm like, really? Like, you know what I mean? So to me, it's more important that I'd be like, yo, Khalil, your hat was sick, but more times, this, that, and the third, get the card from here and say, yo, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Exactly.
You go back, you make new orders, it's even better. And then because I dealt with you properly, you're like, yo, hold this one for free. And this, that, and the third. Because like, I gave you critical advice that made your business better. As opposed to saying, like, this is shit, and then just dashing it. You know what I mean? So...
But that also kind of reminds me of like when black people expect free things from their friends when they start their businesses. Like, why can't you just be able to give
the family
without getting a free thing
but
or a discount?
Discount?
You know how I know what that situation is? I put on a lot of events, right? Strangers will pay top dollar and even more. They'll be like, yo, I support what you're doing. 50, you know what I mean? And then
you give extra.
Then your friend is like, yo, more times I'm kind of lower than can you allow me? And it's like, yo, if you actually don't have it, of course, I would never reject my brother and sister. But if you're pulling up in Gucci, Louis, and Fendi, and you're talking to me about, I'll tell you right now,
a discount.
You got selective brokenness.
You're
rich at the Gucci store, but with me, you selectively chose to be poor with me.
Money,
And I told my friends, you don't even know Rihanna. You don't know Fenty. You don't know Gucci. You don't know who that guy is. You know what I mean? So why are you willing to invest top dollar over there, but then you are poor with me?
And I'm your boy.
And I'm your boy. And I told them, like, look at how these strangers deal with me. Look at how you deal with me. Who knows me longer? You, right? So how come they... And then he's like, well, but you're like... I'm like, no. Your support should be greater than theirs because you know me longer. So don't use our timeline as an excuse. So you just gotta show your people that I'm like, look at how I'm treating you.
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one, right?
But I also think a lot of people have the crab in the bucket mentality. Like, they see you doing well, you're pushing your business, but they want to pull you down. And I like to tell people, like, people want to see you do good, but they don't want to see you do better than them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, when friends come to me, I tell them, hey, I love you, I care about you, but, you gotta pay full price. You gotta support me, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's just money. I think support comes from even reposting stuff, promoting, telling a friend. Doing that to me, that would show me that you're a real person.
Picking up a task.
Yeah, pick up something,
Don't you see me doing all of this? Don't you have hands too?
It's a good energy to know you support a lot of people.
Exactly.
Like, just one act, like I buy Khalil's hat today, I buy just you're gonna walk people wherever you go. Good energy is gonna follow you because your name and your reputation. If a legion of people can be like, oh, he helped me with this, or she helped me with this, or this, that, and the third, it's just gonna build a good reputation around your name that you'll notice in life. If you don't ever have no money, if you ever don't have no food, you'll never go hungry. Even down to your children, because they'll be like, oh, who are you? Oh, your dad's who? No, you're good. Because I know what your dad contributed to this world. Your last name means something. You know what I mean? So.
And when it's time for you to push out something, then people support you. They'll be happy because they know you have a heart of giving and really support me. They know you bring good energy. So
even if they don't even, it can be down to where even if they don't even like your music, they'll still come through because it's like they know like what the work you put in. You know what I mean? And people will do a lot. People are not necessarily fans of your work, but they're a fan of your energy. So just because it's not even that I like your business, but just because it's you, I rock with it.
So many people told me that.
I like that. It's true.
They read the hustle.